Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another backtesting episode. So, yesterday, I don't know why. I know why. I had to reboot. There we go. Okay, we're back. So yesterday, missed opportunity here on ES. Marked it down as a missed trade. I did say how I wanted to wait till after the 9:30 news, but I guess there are certain criteria where you don't need to do that. And here on ES was largely one of them. So unfortunately, yes, the news did trade down, traded into the BPR. BPR did what it was supposed to do, reject price. Ultimately traded down into the M5 order block, but could have used the M15. But traded down to the M5, rejected, repriced higher. Obviously, on the news, if you'd taken the trade on NQ, you would have had to weather this bit of drawdown. So it kind of gets you thinking in terms of how conservative do you want to be or how aggressive. I think the reality would have been get into the trade. If you're wrong, you have the opportunity to get back in, or you take the loss. You just got to respect the risk. So that's what we're going to try and do going forward. We're going to try and respect the risk and not sort of talk ourselves out. Why was the trade? Why was the trade high probability? Well, number one, I think one of the elements which would have resulted in a hold on, what's going on here? Just do that. Okay. One of the elements which would have resulted in a in not taking the trade, should I say, is the fact that if we look at the 9:30 candle on ES, we purged previous day's high. Now, admittedly, it was a small purge, so the likelihood is we're going to have a slightly a deeper run. NQ hadn't purged those levels, so again, what could we have done prior to 9:30? Engage the market here, taken the trade to BE, which would have been here, and would have left a lot of room. And also as well, being as this is the higher low theory, the low should hold. But anyway, let's. Oh, monitors are going to turn off again. Let's continue with the following day. So that's 10 a.m. Yeah, so the trade delivered from a high time frame standpoint, I guess. Let's just have a look at. All right, let's play it on and see, and then we'll fast forward to the following day. Yeah, kinda shame, right? There we go. Okay, let's forward it on. So next session. So we're heading into Wednesday, which typically Wednesday is not a high probability day for me. Usually Thursday. But anyway, let's go out to the daily. Get rid of that, and that, and that. Right, so let's get into our analyst mode. Could well still be the draw. Get rid of that. Okay, so I think most of the analysis is going to come on the H4. So let's just drop down. I'm happy to remove this. Remove that. Keep that in play. Okay, so let's put our POIs. Well, first things first, do we have a high? We do. Let's mark that off. That was there. Okay. Okay, so no low. It's fine. So let's mark up the previous day's high. Okay. Now I want so okay. Right, let's get comfortable. Let's get dialed. Right, here we go. I was slouching in my chair a little bit, and I figured time to sit up and get intentional. Okay, that's lower. Right, so okay, fine. There are some small sibbies here and stuff like that, but I think the key one initially is this one here. Okay, so okay, right, so let's get into it. Daily outlook. What date are we? 23rd. So IOF, let's go out to the daily as usual. Right, so quite clear to the upside. Now, in fact, I just want to see. Is it this high it just purged? Yeah, it's quite a way away. Okay, it's fine. Not too worried about that. So essentially what I'm alluding to there is liquidity pools which are quite you know, this one here, if you will. I don't look at them for SMT. I'm just looking at them purely for targeting and ultimately where fair value resides. So if we look at, if we do that, don't want the X. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. And if we take this one here, which is just a real small purge, okay. So if I just drop down to the 4 hour, see that overlap with the fair value gap there, potentially fair value. But anyway, so IOF is to the upside. We can maintain that posture. Bear with, let's have a look. Yeah, so essentially what we outlined yesterday oh my god, sorry about that. What am I doing? Okay, so relative to the day time frame, IOF is to the upside following the high time frame displacement, which was initiated by the high time frame cracking correlation at the lows, plus bullish fair value gaps have been repriced and rebalanced, or being left unfilled, with the market showing a willingness to reprice higher. Okay, so that's relative to the daily time frame. Okay, so, and furthermore, old lows being manipulated whilst old highs are being displaced through. Now that's previous, and to be fair, we've got a displacement through here as well, so that is supporting that idea. Okay, so we're dropping down to the 4 hour. A bit more going on here. Some of which probably not necessary right now, if I'm being honest. Some of all the price action towards the lows is not necessary. Okay, so yeah, so some of which is not necessary. So H4 still to the upside. That hasn't changed also, so we can to the upside, bullish fair value gaps being repriced and rebalanced, and the market finding support to reprice higher. And that's really it. I mean, there isn't too much to. We can take the same narrative on the H4 as we did with the daily. There's no point. So, yeah, pretty much the same. It's still supporting institutional order flow bullish. If we look at that BISI that's held so far, so no reason for us to look for something that may not necessarily exist. So we're going to look at external range liquidity. So let me take a little bit of coffee. Okay, so again, going back out to the daily. So the market's obviously purged this old high. So we're going to make a note of that. So it's the old high daily. Therefore, if coupled with an high time frame cracking correlation at the highs, this could support the idea of the market seeking internal range liquidity in the form of the BC daily. So that's possible if the high time frame cracking correlation holds. I'm going to put an unconfirmed at the highs. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I guess. In fact, I'm not going to do that because I don't want that to dictate. We can see that there is a cracking correlation up there, but I'm not necessarily convinced by it yet. We need to see more. But we're just making the point that because we've taken external range liquidity, should the market see a cracking correlation at the highs, then near term could be the draw. I mean, I'll be honest, I wouldn't envisage that to be the case. Potentially a trade back down into the BCH4, but not necessarily down into the daily BC. But we'll have to see. But if the market, okay, so if the market does not confirm an high time frame cracking correlation at the highs, then I would be anticipating the market to continue to the next high time frame, external range liquidity pool above the marketplace. Okay, which would be the old high weekly. Okay, so pretty simple there. Just want to make sure I haven't missed anything in terms of my analysis that I think it's pertinent. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to SB. So I've noted. Sorry. Let's just drop this down to the 4 hour. Enlarge that. Okay. So I've noted the clean and clear swing point above the current price, referencing the previous day's high. This is also where near-term liquidity would reside. So I just want to do this whilst I'm here. Okay. Take these two. Okay. So this is where near-term liquidity would reside. Okay. If the market was to purge this key price level, this could stage and high probability trade idea. Okay. Right, so we don't need to get to sorry, something I need to emphasize. The previous day's high is currently above the true week open, supporting the idea of high probability shorts. Okay, just wanted to make that point. Now we go to TO. Straightforward. Current price, all of them are currently above previous week's high. I mean, true week open. Currently, all members are above their respective true week open, supporting the idea of high probability shorts. Does not mean that we just go and sell the market or anything of that nature. We're just applying context currently. So now Kraken correlation. Okay. So there is currently no near-term high time frame Kraken correlation in operation. However, IOF is bullish, supported by H4 imbalances. I will be waiting for an higher time frame Kraken correlation before looking to engage the market. Okay. So that's where we are. We don't need to work on the game plan just yet. We are going to drop down now to have a look at what game plan scenarios do we think exists. Interesting. So yes, we do have this unconfirmed at the high, and it could result in price trading lower. But before we get into all of that, let's annotate where we are. So this is in close proximity. I'm going to mark it up because it's part of the process, but the reality is if price does trade all the way up here, it's likely to purge the high. Oops. So we want that for NQ as well. We've got relative equal highs, so I'm not going to mark up. And on here we have AR. I'm not going to mark up. We've got AR. I'm not going to mark up London just because we're two in very close proximity. There is an H1 liquidity pool here, which has been purged. So we'll mark that up. Okay. That can go here. Okay. We've obviously got this big H1 imbalance, but no need to worry about that. Just want to get rid of previous. Let's get rid of all of this. There we go. Okay. Okay. Right, so I think that is all. In fact, I just need to venture back out because bear with me. Now we're back. Okay, so I am going to mark up, although it's not aligned, but sort of YM does operate slightly differently. And it is within an imbalance in its own right. Okay, so back to the hourly. So we know we have no news. Just double checking that. Well, no, I tell a lie. Fed Chair Powell is speaking at, weirdly, there. Okay, so he's speaking at 8 o'clock. So, alright, so let's have a look at what game plans we potentially have. So number one, with price being above the true week open and institutional order flow remaining bullish, should we note an high time frame correlation at the imbalance, this could form a setup for higher prices to the previous day's high. Now obviously there are other elements to the model which would need to come to fruition, but that's a possibility. So that's one. So we're saying now that we've purged this H1 liquidity pool, we'll need to see more, because certainly between ES and NQ, because right now we have symmetry. So we'd need to see a lot more. Not sure we will at present, but if we see support from here and then a H1 imbalance, that potentially could be an idea as well, but got to be a bit careful. So that would be number two. If we see continuation from the BCH4 with symmetrical price action on ES and NQ, so if we see a continuation and the market forms an H1 imbalance, this could set the stage for a low time frame model seeking higher prices. Okay, now 3 would be if the market reprices higher symmetrically, but we then see a high time frame cracking correlation at the highs, the previous day's high. This could set the stage for lower prices. So let me just review that. Yes, we've got no clear previous day's low, so that would nullify certain models. Yeah, so I think I'm happy with those sort of game plans. So here's going to be key. If we trade and close below here, then it does then beg the question. I think we should mark this up. Yeah. So we'll have this there. NQs is just slightly more. Just going to go to the symmetrical high. Okay. So let's now see what happens. So we're at 7 o'clock. We obviously want to get to 8 o'clock. Sorry, hold on, we're not finished here. Potential. The framework has been set for if this was to go lower, we might not have to wait. Okay, we might not necessarily have to wait because the framework at the highs has been set. So in essence, there is a small SIBI here. I'm going to mark up the first two because I think so we just want to mark this one. That's interesting. It's a small one in there, but we'll just keep it to ES and NQ for now. I think there's a, yeah, okay. Let's mark this. Okay. So we want to see if we get anything in relation to that. Right. Let's drop to the 15. 7 o'clock. Let's see. We've got some key levels. Hold on. We've both purged that, so we don't need that. That's having a level for a level's sake. Okay. So 8 o'clock is the first element because of Powell speaking. We want to see what happens there. So the market's continuing to reprice lower. Okay, heading towards the news now. So this is 8 o'clock candle. Right, so we're at the news embargo now. So let's just take a look and see what we've got. So we do have potential. Would need to see, so that's a H4. We need to see a bullish order block. That didn't confirm the bullish order block, so nothing to do. So let's run price on a little bit more. We're going to obviously head towards equities open. We want to see if the market finds any form of support or whether it wants to continue trading lower. We'll see. I'm just going to stop it here a second. Still symmetrical price action. Nothing really going on. Just going to venture back out to the daily and the hourly and the 4 hour. So unfilled. I'm going to take this one out. Not necessary right now. There's a small one here, so we'll mark it up now. Go. Okay. Go to the 4 hourly. So interesting that we've traded through. Now with this SIBI, this mid-level, sorry. Yeah, so this mid is actually this one's high as well. Yeah. So potential of something to transpire there, but we still need to see a little bit more. There's nothing yet as far as I'm concerned in terms of any of the game plans we've set aside. No imbalances in here. Let's do anything. So pretty balanced price currently. Let's continue. Okay. So we're now into equities open, and it is looking incredibly likely the market's just going to continue lower. Not seeing anything whatsoever. And not even thinking about chasing the market. Okay, let's continue. So we're at equities open. Seeing a bit of a rejection, but no, now prices continuing lower. Alright, so interesting. I just want to go back out to the 4 hour just to get the picture. Yeah, so it's looking likely that that's going to trade through there. So we've got a low in here. It's looking more and more likely that the market is just going to continue to reprice lower. Oops. Okay. Let's drop back down to the 15. As I said, Wednesday's typically never a real productive day for me, but you never know. Tuesdays and Thursdays present the better opportunities, but hey, you never know. So let's continue, see what happens. Looks like the market is just continuing to reprice lower. Okay, that's an interesting development. So let's pop out to the hourly and have a look at what we've got. So currently that mid-level has been hit on both. So and go out to the 4 hour. Hold on. Potential BPR. Get rid of that. So with this one we traded through. So let's convert that now into its SIBI. Okay. Do that all the time. Okay. Now we have overshot this and closed, so I'm not anticipating this to hold. Potential BPR in here. I mean, yes, this is an inversion fair value gap, but I don't particularly like to use inversion fair value gaps, if I'm honest. However, if we're looking at NQ, it's still supporting its BISI. So we're going to do that. Okay. Okay. So that's the 4 hour. It is supporting lower prices. That to me looks evident. But right now I'm not seeing excuse me, I'm not seeing a framework to support an idea yet. It's not to say that we won't, just not seeing anything yet. And with the clock ticking, see, this is not a framework here. We've got mid-level, both traded below the mid-level. Naturally, we're not including, let's just get rid of these, and that. Naturally, we're not including YM because although what is interesting is this fair value gap, which is low. This one here, is that aligned? Interesting. That's me. Well, let's just mark up some things here. I don't want to get too bogged down, but let's just have a look at this. So high, medium, low. Here, let's just move this for now into here. So this is the aligned, if we're looking at candle formation, this is the aligned fair value gap, which would be here on ES. Now, we're just going to utilize the low, and what we're going to do here is utilize this. Now, I'm not trying to force a trade or anything of that nature. I'm just getting an indication. So that's its mid-level, which is at 34,393, and this low. So it's equal lows. It hasn't actually purged the level yet. So, which is this level here. So again, I'm leaning towards further downside. Just going to pop back to the M15. Let's go to the M5. Let's sorry, back to the 4 hour second. So I want to get rid of this. Don't need that. This fair value gap is the low one, which is fine. This small one here so it's the low of that. But that has been purged, so high, medium, low. Yeah, I'm not really seeing the highs, if I'm honest. But nothing has created anything as far as I'm concerned to engage. So let's continue. We can always pause. Okay, so we've got M15 displacement, but again, As far as I'm concerned, the model is not there yet. So let's continue. Just pausing that there. YM hasn't confirmed. No, sorry, for me this is not a model. So if price wants to expand towards the previous day's high, I wouldn't mind that. We're almost at the trade execution window, but I'm expecting lower prices. But let's see, we've got a rebalance of the fair value gap on NQ and NES. Right, okay, hold on. We are outside the trade execution window, but I'm curious to see this here. It's traded into the CB. Now, we can look at the H1 CB, but I'm actually looking at the, in fact, I'm actually looking at the H4. But we are outside the trade execution window, so for me, the probabilities are significantly less. Okay, so marking that up there, I'm going to mark the same level here. And in actual fact, it's the same level on YM as well. I would prefer to see a purge of the high on NQ. That's what I'd much rather see. Yes, there is this, but I'm more interested in let's see. Okay. Now, if NQ was to purge that high and ES was to trade into the, I'm just going to venture out. We're almost at lunch, so I would still need to see a H1 purge in order to take. Well, do we? You're always going to get a H1 purge. Yeah, there is a possibility we could use this M15 liquidity pools. Personally, I prefer to see a H1. But let's see what the market does. It certainly seems like NQ wants to go for the highs. It certainly does. And with the time at lunch, I'm going to leave that one here. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to frame something, but I did kind of preface this session by saying that typically Wednesday does not provide move opportunities as much as I would like. So what we're going to do here is leave this here. We're going to leave this as part 1 for the 23rd, and we're going to come back in a little while with part 2 and see if we get the cracking correlation at the highs and if the market does want to reprice lower. Hopefully you found this one useful. in terms of how we sort of navigate in the market and so on. We've set our game plans out, so the reality is we haven't deviated from that. We're just managing the key price levels to see whether the market wants to trade up to any of our price levels in order to engage the market. So we just have to wait and see. But yeah, nothing as of yet. Hopefully you've taken something away. If you've liked the content so far, please give it a like, and if not, please subscribe to the channel. That'd be really generous of yourselves if you would do that. And I will catch you guys in the next episode.